All right, let's see if we can get Ryan on the phone because he said he wanted to call in. Dude, it's really raining outside.
Hey, puta.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing. I'm about to play pool.
All right, we're recording right now.
I know. Oh.
Yeah.
Hello, three amigos.
Hey.
Hey, Mr. Sturdevant out there on your honeymoon?
Yeah, what's going on?
Still Sturdevant.
Where's the missus?
Man. She's getting ready to play pool with me. She's not very happy about it.
Oh, all right.
Why isn't she happy about it?
Because she didn't want to play.
Oh, well.
How is it over there?
Okay. No, it's great, dude. The weather's perfect. We got to snorkel a little bit today. My golf is free now.
Very nice.
So, yep. It's been good. But I was going over your show notes.
Yep.
So, I just want to throw my little tidbit in, obviously, being beyond ecstatic about the fact that we got Manny Machado. Like, I don't even know how to put that in
Spoilers.
And I can't even tell you because, like, I haven't had nobody to share that excitement with here. Like, I run into nobody with a Padre hat on. I've seen two people with Giants hats on, and I've talked a lot of shit to them.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I did not get to share my excitement. So, like, I've been trying to explain to Shaylee in layman's terms as far as, like, she understands football, so I'll be like, okay, like, that's like, I said, well, I was trying to use it in terms that she understood, and she's a Cowboys fan, second to being a Charger fan. So I was like, that's like Ezekiel Elliott joining the Chargers. She was like, oh, that's a big deal. I was like, yes, it's a huge deal.
Huge deal.
That's pretty good comp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then reading all Bryce Harper things and all that stuff, and just looking at the Padres as a whole, organization, just being like, hey, we have money to spend.
Hey, I was just looking before they're actually, I guess, ownership's going to meet up on, or tomorrow, I guess. Tomorrow's Friday.
Yep.
To discuss.
I think it's going to happen.
To discuss whether or not they want to go after him. That would be. They got to find a way to trade Will Myers. I don't know if you pair him up with a prospect.
So that was the one reason I wanted to call you guys, because I think the only way that happens is if they have to agree to terms to trade Will Myers. That has to happen.
Yeah.
But they have the money to spend on him without doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a small market team, so
they have the money to do it. But, and like Brandon said, they are a small market team, so it's just hard to go from, like, a bottom third spending to mid range. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
it's just a lot of other things.
The article kind of screwed them up because it showed that, hey, we have the money to spend, we're just not spending it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they could have been spending. The whole thing was like they were trying to build from within, trying to build the farm system, which they have. That infield is the most exciting thing I've seen probably my entire life now.
I would agree.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
the potential.
It's insane. No, the potential, yeah.
Yeah.
But
we haven't seen a good
huge, man.
Infield since Loretta, Nevin, Plesko.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Even Loretta, Plesko. No, Plesko was first baseman, but outfielder. He was supposed to be an outfielder.
Who?
Ryan Klesko.
Plesko.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
He was an all-star first couple of years.
Left fielder. And then he got moved to first base because he's slow.
Well, we're using you as our intro right now, but
all right.
As we get into the podcast, we're going to get our starting day, or our Padres opening day starters.
I'm just so happy we have tickets.
Just give us your starting nine. Just go 1 to 9.
Sorry, B, but I have to do this to you. It's going to be Machado at third, Urias at short, Kinsler at second, and then obviously Hosmer at first. And then we're probably going to have Franmil, Margot, and Myers. And then Hedges behind the plate. As much as that pains me to say, I feel like Hedges is probably going to beat out
Mejia.
Not Branchy, Mejia for the starting spot. Mejia will probably end up earning that, but I feel like Hedges is going to take it for the opening day. He's just too good of a catcher.
Who's on the mound for us?
Oh, fuck you.
Joey Fuego?
I don't care.
You don't care? I don't care.
I'd like me some Joey Fuego on opening day.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some Luke Casey.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, Luke Casey would be fine.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I'm just glad we got tickets, man.
Paddock's going to be there.
Well, did you guys see that thing that I sent you? Their ticket site crashed after
I saw that.
So like I told one of the guys in my office that we got Manny Machado, and he's like the ultimate pessimist, and he's like, we always say we're gonna get the superstars, and we never get them. And I'm like, dude, we got him, we signed him.
Dude, no, it's a real thing. It happened.
He went and checked out the tickets, and the ticket thing was like it crashed. And then later on, I saw online that it had actually crashed.
Yeah, but we already got our tickets, so we're good to go.
We're good.
I couldn't even imagine what would happen if they got, Harper as well.
Holy
just
crap.
all those guys, that opening weekday weekend would just be the first month of baseball would just be sold out.
All right, so this is the main thing that I wanted to explain to you folks about the whole Bryce Harper possibility. The biggest reason that I think that this is a probability versus a possibility, meaning I think that Bryce Harper would rather come here than Philadelphia or San Francisco or any of the other teams, is because all of our main pitching is going to be in arbitration for the next half a decade. Our main pitching.
Yeah.
So they can control how much they pay to our position players versus how much they pay to our pitching players. They're obviously going to have to do some work in the bullpen as years go on, but that's the biggest reason. Like, the Padres are in a better situation than the Cubs were 3 years ago and the Astros were 2 years ago, because they don't have to pay anybody right now.
Yeah. We were just looking at the financial.
Meaning they could pay Machado and they could pay Harper and then say, hey, here's our starting 6 pitchers versus 5, and they're all good. So it's a coin flip, but with the way that the division's going over, Kershaw's getting old, pitching for the Giants getting shitty. I feel like Colorado's probably the only team that has any good pitching going for them. I can see it happening.
I think it's definitely...
Yeah, I can see it happening.
That's what I mean. Probability versus possibility is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's more...
If it happens, you heard it here first.
I think it's a possibility, personally, but, if you're right, I'll be so happy.
The only thing that my biggest hang-up is all the numbers are there, all the feelings are there, everything looks right, but past ownership hasn't paid players like that.
All I'm saying is, if we got Machado and Harper, you wouldn't give a rat's ass if we won a World Series or not.
I mean,
no, we're not. No. Well, I want to win a World Series. That's that's my goal.
Just signing them is a world. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, these are my hopes now. It's a definite possibility that
definitely.
I'm gonna be rioting in the streets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I love you guys. I gotta get back to my wife now, so I will talk to you later. I'll see you when I get back.
All right, man. Yeah,
Alrighty.
Enjoy your honeymoon. We love you. Tell the missus we said hello, and to beat your ass at pool.
Sounds good, man.
All right, man.
Later.
All right, love you guys. Bye.
Are you guys ready? Let's do this.
Let's start the show.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What's up, everybody? 3 amigos and a podcast. You just heard our third amigo out there on his honeymoon.
Yep.
Shout out Mr. and Mrs. Sturdevant. Dude, the other day, I was at work on Wednesday, and I was talking about Ryan, and I was telling somebody, I go, and his wife. And I was
That's
like,
the first time.
Whoa, that's the first time I called Shaylee his wife.
Well,
It was crazy.
We were talking about it before the wedding. We're like, damn, next time we have the podcast, there's gonna be a married guy on the podcast.
Now we're getting old.
It's like this is real now.
That's real.
Like you talk about it and you just don't really.
You don't really know.
You just don't. Yeah.
You don't really consider it. Yeah, it's crazy. But so last weekend, last Sunday was Ryan's wedding. Absolutely beautiful.
Lots of fun.
So much fun. We went golfing the day before. That was so much fun. I've been telling people that story of Trevor breaking his putter over his knee.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so funny.
And both me and Ryan had to.
You didn't hit it past the ladies' tees.
So we had to strip down.
Yep.
Giving out a little show, giving up a little show for the people behind us.
That was hilarious, dude. That was so. Did you do it twice, or would Ryan do it twice?
Ryan did it twice, and I did it once.
Two
on the last hole.
That was hilarious. I got some good videos of that. Those were funny. But the wedding overall, man, it was so much fun. It was beautiful. I did feel bad because it did rain, but regardless, like that venue was so beautiful.
Yeah,
and, like they just moved it inside the tent with the backdrop. It was incredible.
That was some great coordinating. Like the wedding coordinator was on point. She was telling everybody exactly what to do.
Yep.
And I thought the wedding was flawless. Like there was nothing
so flawless. It was just boom, 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 boom. I didn't feel confused once. I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
they know exactly what they're doing. Everyone's out of the way. Like it was perfect.
And then for them to just be able to
adjust
adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they might be used to it a little bit, but still,
but just the way that they could do it so seamlessly, as if it was planned that way.
Exactly.
That was it was incredible though. So much fun.
Yeah.
I was extremely nervous for my speech.
You could tell you practiced though. Yours was very polished. Your speech.
Well, I take it very seriously.
So
I'm not just gonna go up there and wing it. So this was my job, but yeah, I was a little nervous getting up there. Left a part out, but it was still okay. It was fun.
I think everybody had a good time though. I could honestly say there was no drama here.
Yeah, wasn't really
usually
any
when
drama.
You get a bunch of people together, there's usually something that happens.
You involve a lot of alcohol, different people. Like,
dude, we drank so much the night before.
Dude, we finished off a handle of Tito's and a bottle of Eagle Rare.
No, 2 bottles of Eagle Rare.
There was 2 bottles?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I blacked out. All I know is...
We finished 2 of them, and that's on top of, like, day drinking with, like...
beers and shots.
We had, like, double IPAs and stuff, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was... Yeah. And then your dad brought, like, the flask and everything, too, and which was, like, a pretty pimp flask.
Dude, that old
flask. Like a Bond flask.
Yeah. I like that thing. That thing's dope.
That was sick. I actually was like, I was kind of hungover the next day, and I'm like, I don't really want to drink, but I will like hate myself if I don't drink out of that Bond flask.
That's exactly how I felt. I was like, dude, there's no way I want to drink. And I saw it, and I was like, I know it's gonna taste like gold, though.
Yeah, it's a Bond flask.
Gonna taste amazing.
But that was a great wedding. Like, so happy to be a part of it.
I was too. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it, and it was just so exciting that it was like the 2 of them. It was really nice. But that was last week. That was the news of last week.
A lot's happened since then.
Yeah, that was their news of last week.
Ryan's in Hawaii now.
They're in Hawaii now on their honeymoon at a huge resort villa.
It looks so nice.
He called in, and luckily he married a woman like Shaylee, so she's not like, get off your phone, we're on our honeymoon. Like Ryan's like, hey, I'm gonna call him real quick. She's like, go for it, whatever.
It's their first time in Hawaii too, right?
This is their first trip together.
Their first trip.
Just them 2. They've always traveled with family or visiting family and all this stuff, but it's just the 2 of them. So
nice.
Yeah, they're having fun.
Well, then they're at a resort too, right? So,
yeah, the resort's amazing. There was a dolphin pit in the resort.
I feel like resorts are pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was like, that's so cool. But yeah, that was the news of last week. Their Sunday fun day trip and getting married. And then come Tuesday, us Padre fans get a bombshell dropped on us. Manny Machado decides to sign his 10-year, $300 million contract with the Padres.
Oh, man. I was nervous because the day of the wedding, Moustakas signed, which meant it was Machado or bust before that.
Yeah.
And then I got that notification. I texted you guys immediately. I was like, holy crap, guys, it happened. It finally happened, which, we've always been tied to guys, our names thrown around, but we've never actually pulled the trigger.
We've never been those guys.
Yeah, we've actually never been the guys who are like, all right, we're taking the leap and going in on this guy.
Yeah. And, dude, I was sitting right there when the notification came on my phone. I'm looking at it, and then I get your text, and I was like, okay, now I know it's real. Like, at first I saw it, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then you text, I was like, oh,
holy shit.
Alex was sleeping on my couch. Sarah was in the room. I just go, talking to nobody. I was just like, we got Manny Machado.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here, and Alex kind of like rolled over and was like, what the hell? Because I know I woke him up. I was just so excited. I was like, I can't believe they did this.
I like texting people that don't even give a shit about baseball about Manny Machado going to the Padres and like, who the hell's Manny Machado?
I texted my dad right away. I was like, we got Machado.
Oh God, your dad was all aboard the Machado train too.
Oh yeah,
so he was talking to me about it at the wedding too. He's like, man, I hope we get Machado, this and this, and I was being very optimistic about us getting Machado, but I'm so glad we actually pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
I know going into the off season, none of us said the Padres were going to get Machado.
Never.
I had him going to the
You
Yankees.
end the season last year, and they're like, "Hey, Machado's going to be a Padre." I'm slapping you in the face.
Yeah, and then
get the hell out of here.
I wanted to know what the Vegas odds would have been at the end of last season for Machado to the Padres.
Oh my goodness!
You would have had to make out so much money.
I would have made that deal. I would have taken that bet, no doubt.
You would have taken it?
Now
you would have. You wish you would go back.
I wish I would have.
God.
So Machado signs with the Padres, 10 years, $300 million with a 5th-year option. You think this is a good deal for the Padres, or what do you think the organization's looking at this as a positive, negative? Where are you at?
There is many ways you can look at this signing. Probably from an outsider's perspective, somebody who's not a Padre fan, who doesn't know anything about the Padres, you're probably thinking we overpaid for Machado a little bit. But as a Padres fan and knowing this team and living in San Diego my whole life and seeing how whittled down this fan base has become over the years because of previous ownership's inability to spend money and commit to winning a winning team, I think this signing is a must-have for this team because you're proving to your fan base who you've burned in the past by trading away top talent for prospects continuously, and not spending money investing in the team. We're talking about a team in 2010 that had a $38 million payroll, which is only $8 million more than Machado's going to be making next year. Yeah. So just seeing ownership willing to commit to winning, and I think our community needs this. We just lost the Chargers, and I just think this community is going to gather around a winner. I think fans show up for a winner,
and that's
regardless.
That's a great point, and I think the exact same thing. I'm exactly on that same mental frame of the community needs this, and this is the time for the Padres to be
step up to the plate,
to become part of San Diego again. You know what I mean? They haven't been a true part of San Diego since the late 90s, early 2000s, or even before that. When they made their little World Series bout, and ever since kind of they moved to Petco, it kind of seems like it's been a different feeling. It hasn't been so much baseball. It's been about the park, in my opinion. And now that they have a good team on the field, or
a great park,
you know what I mean? A great park. They have so much potential signed, clearly, arguably the best free agent that was on the market this year. They have an opportunity to put
I think he's better than Harper personally. But
I do too. And that's honestly why I think Machado should make more than Harper, is because the difference between Machado and Harper is Machado could go 0 for 4 and still impact the game. Harper could go 0 for 4. He plays out in right field. He could not get a ball all game. And Machado's playing the hot corner or shortstop. That's you know what I mean? That's a high potential.
Machado's
side.
An elite defender, and Harper's got a cannon. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, he's not that great of a fielder. I mean, he's obviously still good, but I mean,
he's still amazing.
If you're comparing those two, I'm looking at Machado. I'm like, this guy
he offers me so much more.
He's a Gold Glover. He's won a Platinum Glove, which is basically, well, it's a fan vote, but
I mean,
it means he was the best Gold Glover across all the positions.
Yeah,
and that was I think his rookie year. So the dude's he's killing it. He had almost a 6 WAR last year, which is elite.
Yeah,
not Hall of Famer, but
it's
that's
definitely top.
Yeah, he's
in a team that won. Low 60s last year. How many games did we win? 50.
Who, the Padres? Yeah. I think we won 68 or 66 or something like that. Just shy of 70 wins, which I think we definitely underachieved last year. Yeah. I thought our team was better than 68 wins or whatever it was.
But I'm just saying that you add a player like
Machado
with a WAR that high You know what I mean? That automatically is going to bring your team up in theory, of course, or statistically.
Well, and you're committing to winning too. So you're setting, a culture that's been built on just, no accountability. And now you're saying we want to win. So you guys need to perform like it,
Yeah.
And so some of these guys, we look at all these guys, they come up, they're top prospects, they come up to the bigs for us and they don't achieve. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just because you play, it's like the Cleveland Browns,
Well,
Cleveland
you just
Browns,
have the culture of losing, or you don't have anybody pushing you. And I think now it's a great, and that's the other reason why I know
it sends a message to the fan base.
We weren't all a huge fan of the Kinsler signing, but the fact that he's been there before, that Hosmer's been there before, and now you have Machado who's been there before. It's like you add these guys that have been to the postseason and have won in the postseason
and have lost too. So
exactly.
Both sides of the spectrum.
And you have guys that are young. You can bring them up through that culture of like, hey, we got to keep to it. We got to keep our nose to the ground. Let's keep grinding, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's why I like the signing in itself. It'll be a lot of fun.
No, I completely agree, and I think like the national media has been hammering on a little bit too much. I feel like I think they're not giving us the proper justice. But those are guys that don't really know the team. I feel like personally,
and that's exactly what it is. No one knows the Padres. Yeah, the Padres are a small market team. We always have been. The only thing we're known for is great weather. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the only thing we're known for. Every time somebody says it's a benefit for Machado to go there, well, he's playing in the best weather, so that's why. They don't know anything about our stadium, our organization, our players that we have. And that's the other reason why I was telling Ryan earlier that's pissing me off about these people saying Machado. I don't understand why the Padres would sign Machado now when they have no pitching. It's like we have...
You just signed him to a 10-year deal. He's 26 years old.
That's what I'm saying. He has so many years left. We have, 6 of our 10 top prospects are pitchers, and we got a bunch of huge lefties that are going to come up. Mm-hmm. And pitch. It's like, no, they're not ready day one right now, but 2 years, 3 years from now.
Well, I think
that's where we're making money.
You start to see guys kind of dip off a little bit at like age 33, 34. So maybe you only have a couple bad years with him and you're probably hating. But at that point,
but that's what I mean.
But at that point, I think we'll have already won a World Series at that time.
And that's the part that's bugging me about people saying like the Padres aren't ready to win now. I don't think anybody was thinking we were ready to win now. That's why we're adding Machado. Like, Machado's not our answer to make the playoffs this year.
No.
Machado's our answer to win a World Series in 2 years.
No, and that's one of the things I would like to ask you, too. What would be your expectations for this team this year? Like, where do you expect them to be, and what would be a goal for this team?
I think a goal for this team is...
Like, we talked about it a little bit last week.
A 500 ball club. You're a 500 ball club. And you at least get, you get all your prospects, well, not all your prospects, minus like Gore or whatever. Like you get all your prospects playing time. That's what I think our goal is. Yeah, I think our goal is to get every single one of them a cup of coffee, get every single one of them up pitching an honest amount of, almost their maximum amount of innings that they can without, cutting into whatever.
Yeah, using their next year.
I think that's the goal. You get them up, you get them as much playing time as you can, and you still try to win ball games. Because you can't throw them out there and be ready to just lose. You got to still play the game. Mm-hmm. You got to back these guys up, and you just got to give them their honest chance and keep surrounding them with good ball play. Yeah, I think that's our goal for the season.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's like we were talking last week about it a little bit. It was a development year for us.
Yeah.
And if we were 500, I'd be happy. Now I kind of think that we're going to be a 500 ball club, or maybe
expected for me.
Maybe a couple games below or above. I think there's a couple that would be my standard variance from there. But I think we got our position players are pretty much set in stone. I feel like this is the guys that are up right now are going to be our guys going forward, and our position players in the minors are probably going to be trade pieces later down the road. We were talking to Bryce Harper. You package one of those guys up and get Will Myers' contract off your books.
That's money.
You could spend an extra $10 million to get Bryce Harper as opposed to Will Myers.
Yeah, and I will take that trade.
Yeah, I mean, That's basically the difference between Will Myers and Bryce Harper. And I mean, nothing against Will Myers, but the guy has, and I do think we haven't given him. We haven't done him a service by we've moved him around.
That's
a
why
lot,
I said in our last podcast before the Machado signing, the one thing I want to see out of the Padres is handle Will Myers appropriately.
Yes.
Let him play his position, let him get at bats, let him develop in the system. Don't move him from first base to center to third base to, right field, left field, wherever you're going to put him.
Mm-hmm.
Let him pick a position, let him get his at bats, let him play his games. And let him get his reps in. And that was what I want to see. I still want to see that from the Padres. But now that we added Machado, obviously it skews a little bit differently just because I want to see certain things out of different guys now. But I still think that, that's a great point is they need to give Will Myers an honest chance if you're going to keep him on the team and not unload him to get Harper, like you said.
Well, the only thing that sucks is it would be nice to be able to have Will Myers get a chance to audition and improve his stock value.
Yeah.
And you could probably just offload that contract on somebody else for basically nothing, which is what would be awesome. But Harper's a free agent this year. He sounds like he wants to be on the Padres too. So, and we're hearing a little chatter the Padres ownership group might go after him.
And that's the thing that it's like, I was talking to some other people about, there's no way that he's going to go there. Like all this stuff that they're talking about, like they can't do it. They just signed Machado. But the two things that I'm hopeful for, or like the two things that I'm like, these are good signs for us, is one, the Phillies. I feel like the Phillies made an emotional offer. You know what I mean? They feel pressed for time. They're upset. Everyone in baseball is upset that had their hands in Machado. Mm-hmm. Upset that they didn't get him. So they make a irrational decision, give him a huge offer. And I think he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to let the Padres give me a second to see what I want to say. And also, I think it's good that the Padres are probably talking to him and saying, listen, this was Machado's week. Give us until next week.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to sign two big guys in the same week. Machado doesn't get his, you know what I mean? He doesn't get his jersey sales. He doesn't get his, extra money. Like, he doesn't get his moment of glory.
No, yeah.
You give him this week. Come next week, Monday, Tuesday, you sign Harper. Just give us the weekend. That's why I think the Friday meeting is going to be with Scott Boras, Harper's agent. I think it's going to be give us till Monday. Let Machado have his moment,
and let us stew over this too. You just spent $300 million. You're not going to spend another $300 million all in 1 week.
I don't know. I feel like with AJ Preller, you got to hit ownership. You got to strike when the iron's hot.
I will say this: they both got tendered a contract. An offer from before Machado had signed. They both had gotten like 350 or 250 plus from. And
that's what I mean. You see, the Padres front office and ownership seeing how well the community is reacting and how much attention you're getting. No doubt, AJ Preller saying, "We signed Harper. You guys are putting asses in the seats every fucking ball game."
Hell yeah!
You got people.
He's the flashiest guy in the game.
That's what you got. People coming out in August.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The dog days, man.
Fucking nobody comes out to Padre games in August. You could walk up to the front, first base side. You could walk right up there and sit right down.
You could get...
You sign Machado, you sign Harper, I guarantee you there's fucking people there in August.
Dude, you want to know who I feel bad for, though? The Chicago White Sox.
Dude.
That poor franchise is going to hate the Padres forever. They traded James Shields for Fernando Tatis, a shit contract, and now you just lost out on Machado.
Your biggest guy.
I think if we win a World Series in this run that they're gearing up for, it's going to be courtesy of the Chicago White Sox, man.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, the White Sox have to hate us. Their GM was cursing up a storm. Dude. In his reaction to Machado signing with the Padres. He was like, I'm keeping my fucking shades on. I don't want you guys to see the anger in my eyes. I can't believe he would do that. We offered him so much more money. And it's true. He left like $30 to $45 million on the table from the White Sox offer.
But the thing that's so stupid about this is that team could have had him. They could have easily had him if they were just willing to commit to the player. And that was what this was all about. It was all about the guaranteed money. It wasn't about... So, like, The money would have vested, I think, if he had like over like 500 at bats or something like that in his like at the end of his career.
Yeah, it was very very.
And so like let's say he has 499 at bats, that those millions of dollars doesn't vest.
Boom.
And so something like that doesn't show commitment to the player, and that's what this large contract's about. It's also about Machado, that I'm sure the flash of how they largest free agent contract in American
history,
American sports history or whatever. I'm sure that was probably something Machado wanted out there because I'd
want that out there. I want people to know how much I'm worth and how excited.
We've seen the movie Moneyball, remember? And he's talking about how he got this huge contract, and he's like, the guys. They want that contract because it tells them that they're worth it,
Yeah.
They don't need that money, but just to have that attached to your name,
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And I also love the 5th-year option because not only is that smart for the Machado camp, but it's also smart for the Padres organization. Because you go out there and let's say he has an all-star, 5 years with us, every year is a 5, he can get that option to get more money. And at that point, if he's an all-star for 5 years in a row, I think we're going to win a couple, like a World Series, at least one, maybe a couple. You know what I mean? If he's playing
go far into playoffs,
if he's at that high of a level, and I also think it's good because let's say he's playing mediocre, but we're getting into the playoffs, we can re-sign him, or we can try to restructure his deal a little bit.
Yeah, if we want to re-sign him, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I do like how that. The GMs and the agents are getting really creative with the way they do these contracts. And I know one of the stipulations on here that was kind of the hold up on the deal being finalized. I was telling you guys before we got on. Yeah. It's like it's official, guys. We can like exhale now.
We can breathe.
He's for sure a Padre now. And the way that they do it now is every year, like Machado's going to be updating a list of teams that he's not open to being traded to. So he has like a trade clause, a no trade clause, but it's like limited, and he updates it every season with the teams that he's okay with going to.
Wow.
So like
that's interesting.
That's how the superstar treatment is, But I'm still just in shock. I wake up every morning and I'm like, holy crap, we finally have a superstar.
I can't believe it either.
Like, it's just it's been so long since we've had someone I think he's like a top 15 player in the league,
Easily.
Yeah, I think he's in that range. He's, aside from Nolan Arenado, who's my boy, he's probably the best third baseman in the game, and he might even be more valuable than Nolan Arenado because he's younger than Nolan Arenado.
Yes, yeah. So, with the signing of Machado, we asked Ryan this, we're going to opening day. Give us your opening day starters. Let's go position 1 to position 9.
So, do you want me to do the lineup or the positions?
Go position. Positional.
So I'm going to start off catcher, Austin Hedges. First,
pitcher first.
Oh, pitcher? Yeah. Joey Lucchesi.
Okay.
I love seeing that dude pitch.
I love seeing him too.
He's smooth. Last year he was my favorite thing to come out of last season by like a long shot. And then Austin Hedges can be the catcher. I'm a big fan of his.
Yep.
Eric Hosmer. I'm gonna throw, just because it's opening day. I'm gonna go Ian Kinsler at second, Luis Urias at short, Machado at third.
Mm-hmm.
And then left field's going to be Will Myers, Manuel Margot, and right field I'm doing Hunter Renfroe. I know I do like Franmil Reyes, but I was looking over some of their stats, and Renfroe threw down last year. He went under the radar. I think Franmil's getting a lot more attention because he caught people by body. Well, no, he caught everyone by surprise.
Yeah.
Renfroe had a 2.4 WAR in 3/4 of a season. He hit over 20 home runs. He hit 26 home runs. He would have been on pace for almost 40. He was second on the team in RBIs. I mean, he's definitely catching on. I think his bat might be elite at some point, even though he is getting up there in age. But
our lineups were almost identical. I went Lucchesi on the mound, Hedges behind the plate, Hosmer at first, Kinsler at second, Machado at third, Urias at shortstop, Will Myers out in left. I have Franchi Cordero starting for us in center.
Ooh.
And then I got Hunter Renfroe over in right.
I do like we just have so many good options in center and like the outfield where I'm like I can feel comfortable with just about any of these guys. If you're putting Travis Jankowski out there, I'm still okay with it.
I was just about to bring his name up. Like, do you feel bad for that guy? Because I feel like, you know what I mean? He was so consistent for us last year.
Yeah,
but the difference between him and the rest of these guys is they're part of our young nucleus of the team.
Well, Travis Jankowski was a first-round pick for us one year. I mean, he's a guy we have a lot of like stock in, but
yeah,
I think we all view him the same: an elite fielder and a stud off the bench to steal some bags in late game innings.
He'd be like my sixth man.
Your sixth man, or like I feel like he'd be like my fourth outfielder. Like
no,
he's the
I'm
guy.
saying like in basketball.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
like they have the sixth man, like the guy that's like he's basically a starter, but he's like the all-star sub.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
who he is. He's my sixth man. Like he's the guy that it's like you put him out there. I know what I'm expecting. I know what I'm going to get. He's just going to keep working.
And like if we have Margot and him out in the outfield,
dude,
I'm like
so much speed out there.
You have so much speed, and they both
read the ball.
They both read the ball really well. So it just you have both those guys out there. I feel pretty comfortable that anything hitting the gaps they're going to make a good play on it.
All right. Well. All right, I'm going to grab another beer real quick, but answer me this question while I'm running over to the kitchen.
Okay.
All right, with Machado signing, right, what does this mean for the rest of baseball? And more specifically, what does this mean for the NL West?
Can you, are you talking about as far as contracts go, or what do you mean?
As far as team play. Like, how do you think that the Padres are going to
does this
impact
shift power?
Baseball? Exactly. Like, what do you think their shift is going to be in baseball overall, and how do you think this is going to affect, the NL West more specifically in our division?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be making waves across baseball this season. However, I think down the road you could be looking at a team that's going to be contending for at least a good solid 3 to 5 year window where I think we could be challenging for a World Series. But as far as shift in power this year, I think you're already seeing the Dodgers kind of weaken up a little bit. They traded away 2 really good outfielders. They did get AJ Pollock, who's a stud, but I don't feel like they have made enough additions to the team to supplement their losses. And I think the Rockies are I think this is kind of their last year, in my opinion. I feel like unless they find a way to lock up Nolan Arenado now, I think once he hits free agency, it's going to be really tough for the Rockies to fit him in their budget. And then Diamondbacks are tanking hard, man. This is going to be a rough year for them. They just traded away their best player, and Paul Goldschmidt. He's going over to the St. Louis Cardinals, and I think the Giants aren't really in it to win it. I think they're in it to please their fans who are showing up to their games. I do think they're a player for Bryce Harper, but I don't think, like, if I'm Bryce Harper, I don't look at that team and be like, this is a team I want to go to. I don't see a bright future for that team. I see a bunch of shitty contracts that they're not going to be able to get out of for the next several years. And while their fans do show up, that stadium's pretty much rocking every time. I just look at them as kind of that middling team. They're going to be hunting for third place pretty much for the next 5 years, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I think the one team that's most affected by this in all of baseball is the Cleveland Indians. I think that takes Manny Machado out of the AL Central.
That too.
And that gives them another chance to make a playoff run. I think I don't know. Everyone in that division is benefiting. You know what I mean?
That division's weak as shit.
And I think
they're basically the joke is that the Indians can start resting their guys for the playoffs right now.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that's the biggest impact on baseball is that the Indians will now make the playoffs, and
guaranteed.
Who knows what that's going to do in the playoffs?
Hey, they need an outfielder, man.
All I
gotta say is Will Myers would look good in that outfield.
Yeah.
And
the White Sox outfield?
No,
or the Indians.
The Indians.
Oh yeah.
They still need to make some moves if they want to push themselves over the top, in my opinion. But
yeah, well, maybe
if
Will Myers will get his audition, and then he'll get some
spring
trade
training
waves.
ball and see how he does in left
even
field.
like before the trade deadline.
Trade deadline move.
Yeah, could be. I wouldn't be upset at that. At least
I don't
a
know.
way to get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't
Take
know
on
if
the
there's any
contract
big.
now and get something.
I don't know if there's any big outfielders that are going to be on the market next offseason.
I don't know. It's too far out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that in depth, but I definitely, I think that this affects the NL West. Like you were saying, how Diamondbacks lost some people. Dodgers are kind of on a decline. Well, not on a decline, but their pitching's getting a little older. They got some holes to fill, definitely in that roster. And then the Giants, are just out there to please their fans at this point. They're
They're riding high off their 3 World Series, man. Which
it makes
I feel
more
like they
sense.
overachieved for.
It makes more sense why the organization's trying so hard for Harper, because Bruce Bochy announced his retirement.
That too.
So I see that being.
Well, you saw that text I sent you guys, right?
No,
like I sent you guys a text. Basically, if the Giants win 76 games this year, Bruce Bochy will finish with, I think, like 2,000 career wins or something that.
Yeah.
I think that would just be sick.
That'd be so
I'm
sick.
not a Giant fan, but Bochy took
I'm
us
a Bochy fan.
Yeah, Bochy took us to World Series, so he's still got a soft spot for him a little bit.
Did you know Bruce Bochy's been on the Padres roster for every single postseason game?
That's right.
He's been on
we forgot about we got Bud Black
to coach.
We got Bud Black.
Yeah.
And we just haven't gone since, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the Giants have overachieved, and then you look at Bud Black on the Rockies now, and they're going to the playoffs every year.
And then you got freaking Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts
at the Dodgers, and it's like
it just seems like, oh man, we're
all these ties to the Padres.
Yeah, we always do a good job developing our coaches, but not necessarily the best job with our players.
Oh, man. Well, with Machado off, Harper still on the board, what team is your favorite for Bryce Harper?
I feel like the Phillies are going to pull it off. I feel like they're just the team with the most money to spend right now. And they already reports, I think, $330 million on the table for him. But I will say this, if a team like the Padres, it sounds like he prefers the West Coast. If a team like the Padres can get the money together, I think I could easily be swayed to picking the Padres over him. I just think the Phillies got the money and somebody else got to match it, or else he's,
I think the one thing that's going to make Harper go anywhere besides the Padres, and really the only option that the Phillies have is if somehow they work that starting number with a 4. I think that's the only way that they're doing it.
Well, you remember like last year, they're like Machado and Harper are going to be the first $400 million players.
Yeah. I think that's.
And then now that it's 300, everybody's in shock, but you're like, well,
even if they offer him 330, I think, like, let's say they offer him 330 and the Padres are offering him like 315 or something like that, or 3 with less years, but 7 years, 3 or something like that, like some kind of manipulation in that sense. I think that's a more entertaining offer for Scott Boras and Bryce Harper than to go into the Phillies. The Phillies have way more to lose out of this deal of not making a deal.
No, they have to, man.
They have to, or they will be riots in the streets. So they have to make this deal. And I think that the only way they're going to do it, and the best way they're going to do it, is that number starts with a 4.
Dude, I think they could afford to pony up. They're a pretty large market, but
yeah,
I think they have to. Honestly,
they have to.
They
have to, or that ownership will suffer so badly. That city will turn against them. They're gonna, you know what I mean? There's so many more ramifications if they don't sign him.
Those fans are diehard over there. It's insane. And you look at it. I was just thinking about this. So A-Rod signed for that 270. That was over 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're only like $50 million more, and everyone's all up in arms over. Even though I think A-Rod's probably a better player than Machado, but
yeah, I agree. But still, I mean, yeah, it's just crazy that the baseball market hasn't. hasn't grown as exponentially as like the NBA or NFL market.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was just thinking about. I'm like, man, this is insane.
Yeah, there's just I don't know, but it's the ceiling, you know. Like,
yeah, well, I'm happy with this signing. We're both just over the moon for this.
Dude,
signing.
I can't say enough. Like, I really can't. I'm just excited for it. I was talking to a guy that I work with that's in New Jersey, and he was saying like, "Oh man, you know, Machado, 10 years, $300 million. Like, that's a huge deal. Like, you guys can." He was like, "One, can you guys afford that? And two, is that deal even worth it?" And I go, what you don't understand is that as an organization, they've never made a move like this. So the fact that they've committed to somebody like this gets the city riled up.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, them signing this, it's going to pay for itself through ticket sales and merchandise, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's going to pay for itself. So that's the reason why it makes sense. Like,
I think the only thing you really like, I think he's worth $30 million a year, and I think everyone in baseball would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think the real question is whether or not you believe this guy is going to be a Hall of Famer throughout his entire career. And that's something you have to look yourself in the mirror if you're going to offer somebody that contract. You're like, do I think Manny Machado is going to be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, you make him that contract. And if not, then you shouldn't offer him the contract. And so, I mean, going all in, you can't fault a team for making a move that they think is going to help win some games for them.
Yeah. And yeah. And that's, you know, and also to that point is kind of why last year made the Hosmer signing so bitter, because you spend the money and you have a worse record with him than without. So it makes it seem like, wait, was this deal worth it? Was this amount of money worth it? But, you know, I can take that with a grain of salt, seeing that Hosmer has a trend of up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah, I think it's also, you know, I think he just, it's like we were talking about with the losing culture. He knew he wasn't going to push this team over the top, just him.
Yeah.
And so, like, you go to a team, you're like, well, this team sucks. I'm not going to, like, be able to carry this team over the top.
How am I going to do this? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, and he got signed so late in the offseason so that it wasn't like he, like, had all this time to, like, get super prepared for this season where he's going to overhaul this team, you know.
Yeah.
I think I'm not even worried at all that he's going to rebound this year. I think I'm very confident he's going to rebound.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
I picture him finishing around 280, 290 batting average with like a 340, 350 on base. He's probably going to finish with like 22 to 25 home runs, I'm going to say. And you never know, maybe a Gold Glove, because he's won a few of those.
Yeah. Do you see that video I tagged you and Ryan in on Twitter, or I sent you guys? It was Chris Paddock pitching to Urias, Tatis, and Hosmer.
Yeah, Tatis.
All three of them were like, man, his slider's nasty.
His changeup. He's got like a nasty changeup that everybody, I guess, has a tough time hitting. This guy, he was an elite prospect when we got him. And then he had like a Tommy John, I think, and then he didn't really rebound well. And then I guess he developed that changeup, and now he's back to being like he's ranked even lower than he was, or higher, however, whatever term you want to use. But he's like in the top 40 now, I think, isn't he, in baseball?
Yeah.
So his numbers are ridiculous in the minors. So,
dude, when you said that he got Tommy John, didn't come back well, then developed this changeup. In my head, I thought that Bear Grylls of like adapt, overcome, accomplish.
Yeah,
you know
that was him, man.
That's exactly what he did. I will say
this: his mullet is nasty looking, but whatever,
dude. If he somehow rocks that mullet and becomes a Cy Young winner or something,
who cares?
Dude, I'll grow a mullet out the next fucking day. I'll be rocking a mullet. Bring it back.
He'll be pitching for this team at some point this year in the bigs.
Definitely. Yes, definitely. Well, all right, let's switch gears. Man, I feel like I could talk Padres till I lose breath.
The Padres deserved it, man.
Yeah, even when, I could always talk Padres till it's too much. I don't want to stop, but like we have to, because we're so deep in this already. All Oh shit, we forgot to bring up SDSU.
Oh my God, SDSU yesterday. So I got the notification. I was like, they're playing Nevada. Nevada's only lost one game this year.
Ranked number 6.
Ranked number 6. San Diego State was up at that time. I was like, holy crap. I was like getting ready to go to bed like an old man.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to watch this game. And so like I turned it on. I started watching.
Sit there with your chamomile tea.
And I was like, shit, I got to watch this game. And they look good defensively. They lock in. They've always been a great defensive team. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. They're heating up at the right time of the year.
Yeah.
They're
beating the teams that they need to.
They've lost too many games to get into the tournament without winning the conference tournament, I think, to get their bid. But the fact that they're beating the elite teams in the conference, like Nevada, who's only lost 1 game this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, this was State's biggest win. It was like their biggest win against a nationally ranked team, or their win against the highest nationally ranked team. So number 6 seed, that's ridiculous.
And in the past, I think the highest was 7. But this is I think the coolest part about it is that Nevada right now is they were tied for the best record up to this point for any team in conference history. But the only team they were tied with was San Diego State when they went 27-1. And I think that was a Kawhi Leonard year.
Yeah.
And then so now basically by doing that, they are going to retain the best record in conference history.
I think the other crazy stat was that SDSU has beat them beat Nevada 6 times in a row.
I went to the State Nevada game last year to finish out the year before the conference tournament.
Yeah.
And that place was rocking. And just so I guess the head coach of the Nevada, what are they, Wolfpack? I think they are.
Whatever they are.
But he used to go to San Diego State, and he's a San Diego native. And so since he's taken over, I think he's lost 5 of the last 7 against State.
He can't win against his home team.
And that's what it is.
His home crowd, he's like, I can't do it to you. But yeah, that was a huge win.
Jeremy Hemsley, senior, he's because I think he was a freshman when I was at State. And he was throwing down pretty good. I was like, oh, this guy's got some skills,
Yeah.
And he was kind of the leading scorer for the Aztecs last night.
Yeah, man. I mean, that team has had a rough season up and down, but a big win like that is always exciting, regardless of what kind of season you're having.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess stick with college basketball.
I was just gonna say, I was like, this that win was overshadowed by something way bigger,
which was not only UNC overthrowing Duke,
bigger figuratively and literally.
Literally, it wasn't even UNC beating the number 1 Duke team. It was that Zion fucking blew that shoe up, dude.
You look at the picture of the shoe, it's like halfway up his leg.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you watch it, right? And he's got the ball at the 3-point line. He kind of like dribbles it inside the key, and he goes to just plant and turn, and it just blows up. Like, he's not even running. That's what I thought when I first saw the headline of like Zion's shoe blows up. I'm like, oh, he was sprinting and then went to cut or something like that. No. He was dribbling the ball down, did like a light turn, and it just exploded on him.
So he's got Paul George's shoe, and
is that
and Paul George is not nearly as big as Zion. Zion's basically a linebacker playing basketball.
Dude, no, he's like a defensive end.
He's a defensive end. He's like 275 pounds,
dude,
and he's like
straight
6'7", 6'8",
he's
6'9".
Straight up like Derek Fluker, or I mean
DJ Fluker,
or like a DJ Fluker playing.
He's like,
I was thinking like Corey Liget. He's like a Corey Liget playing basketball,
basically
like an athletic, fat, big ass.
It would be like if like Antonio Brown's athleticism or something was in Corey Liget's body or something. I don't know. The
dude's a freak athlete though.
Yeah, he's a freak athlete, and I hope he does
doubt.
well. It sounded like it was a mild sprain, so it's nothing too serious. I think Duke will keep him out some extra games because they're pretty much a shoe-in to be at least, if not a 1 seed, a 2 seed in the conference tournament or in the NCAA tournament.
So if you're Zion Williamson right now, and you just had that shoe blowout, you got a little tweaked knee, are you like you can see how easily your career can change? Are you just going to sit yourself out the rest of the season?
Oh man, for me personally, like if I was him,
yeah,
I'm playing still just because I can't turn my back on my teammates.
I feel like that's such a lie because you're such a financial thinker and like a planner in a head. Think about it. You're going to go out there for your teammates and get hurt and then lose your $100 million.
He's going to be a lottery pick regardless. He's going to be the number one pick.
If he was out there last night, his shoe slips, breaks like that or whatever, he tears his meniscus or something like that,
he'll still get drafted. If not one, he'll be drafted in the top 5 for sure.
But that's so much different of how much money he's going to make.
And not only that, but
it's like okay, so let's say he still goes that high, that knee's gonna flare up, and he's only gonna get one contract. Or he's gonna get like a smaller deal.
I look at somebody like Zion, who's got so much hype going into pro ball that I think he's gonna be fine regardless. But maybe if it was a different player or a different situation, Zion's a consensus 1. Like there's nobody else even close.
Right now, yes.
Yeah, and if he tears something, he's still going to be within that because those teams that are going to get that pick are not contending next year, so they don't need him right away. So like, I don't know. Me personally, I think if I'm Zion and I have the freaking huge body and I got all this athleticism and I'm just know how to hoop,
yeah,
I'm gonna play probably still. That's what I would do, man.
I mean, I don't know if I'm playing every game. That's the only difference for me.
And I definitely would agree there. I would definitely be playing every game in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
But are you talking about sitting out some games in the regular season? That's a different story.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to sit out the entire season. I'll play the conference, and that's about it. I'll get my team the national championship, like the national title. That's it. You make a lot of endorsements just on that alone, and that's what I mean. And that's the only reason, because I also feel like I have to watch out for my guys that are like seniors, have been playing for 4 years. They're not that good to make it into the NBA, but they've been playing their hearts out.
Yeah, they'll get some G League contracts.
You know what I mean? I want to help you get that title and make your moment. So that's why I would do it as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that the NBA should change the age from 19 to 18? They seem to be considering it now.
Oh yeah, I just saw that they put that on like a ballot, which is weird timing, but the NBA said that there is no correlation between Zion's fall.
Yeah, I know, it just seemed like it was so weird.
It just seems like
they were like, hey, we got to do this fucking now.
No, I mean, I think people should have the right to choose. However, the players should be made aware of what risk they are taking,
Yeah.
And so I think you have to educate these players, but at the same time,
it's hard to.
You got to educate them and hold them accountable, but they are at the same time only 18, 19 years old,
Yeah.
But I think 1 year doesn't make too much of a difference. And worst case, these guys suck. You send them down to the G League anyways, and they can develop down there.
My only thing is that I hate about the 1 year rule in the NBA is it's different than football, where your body doesn't need to develop. Your skills are going to develop. So that's the only difference that's the only reason why I don't like it. I also don't like it because I feel like this is a way for the NCAA to ensure that they're going to make money.
Oh no! This is totally
that game yesterday, that UNC Duke game. That was so the expensive. Second highest ticket sales since the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, there's been so many big events since then, and the fact that a college game sold out more,
and these players aren't getting paid.
They get $0 from that. So that's the only reason why I'm like, I get why they do it, because they want colleges to make money like this, but players don't see any money, and it's about the players.
This is a total political. It's all politics. There's interest groups and everything. If this were all about the players, I think we would have already seen this happen by now.
Yeah.
But just having you look at, there's some guys who are not cut for the game at that age, maybe mentally, But physically, like I look at the guy that the Clippers drafted last year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's like a twig.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram's been in the league for like 3 years, and he's a twig.
But
like you don't have to be built in the NBA.
That's what I mean. They can still ball. They can still show out, and like you know what I mean. They can run offenses.
Look at KD. KD is a twig, and he is one of the best. He's in my opinion, he's the second best player in the game right now. Like it's just you don't have to be built muscularly, you know.
Yeah, you don't have to be. Yeah, but if you can ball and you can move, that's all you need.
Yeah,
and that's why I think it's like you don't. That 1 year isn't going to help you develop at all.
Especially with the way the rules are going, where you touch a guy and you get fouled. You get fouled. So it's like it's a lot more. Yeah, it's a lot more about shooting now than it was in the past.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else happen in the NBA? I know we'll switch.
So
over to
yeah,
NBA.
it was the All-Star game or All-Star week, I should say.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Team World won for the Rising Stars.
Okay.
I think Kyle Kuzma won the MVP for that. He threw down pretty good, but I mean, we already talked about this. Those are kind of a joke. The scores are like 170, 180, and you're like, nobody's really playing defense. It's just like, all right, dude, let's not get hurt. You know,
how do you score that many points? You know what I mean?
No, nobody's D'ing up. Like the 3-pointers are just flying. You know, like
even if they gave us the same amount of time in that game with no defense, there's no way we could score that many points.
I think we could. You're running up the court and you just do a shit ton of layups, but
I mean that's so much running back and forth, and you get tired of it.
You'd have guys are rotating now, you know.
No, just us,
just me and you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not happening. But
no way.
No, we'd get gassed, you know.
Or like 2-on-2. No way.
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. There's no way. But yeah. So I think the things we like to watch. I think the same for football.
It's always the skills
contest. 3-point contest was a good one, I hear. So it was the finalists were Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, who's a Sacramento King. He's been shown out pretty good. Good for them. They're kind of like the Padres of the NBA, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were up and then they just fell off.
And then Joe Harris. And then I think Devin Booker and Danny Green just missed out by like one shot. But then, Steph was on fire to start out, and I guess he cooled off a little bit at the end. And Joe Harris just lit it up.
I don't even know who that is.
He's on the Brooklyn Nets. That's probably why you don't know him. So
the Brooklyn Nets?
The Brooklyn Nets. No, the Brooklyn Nets.
You saw that?
Huh?
You saw that?
What?
When the guy was like, the announcer is giving all the guys their accolades and like from so-and-so, you know what I mean? From the Los Angeles Lakers, it's LeBron James. Like the guy went from the Brooklyn Nets. It's,
No, I didn't
Devin
see
Booker,
that.
or whatever his name is. Whatever,
Devin Booker.
Or whoever the guy was that you just said.
Yeah, Joe Harris.
Joe Harris. Yeah, they were like from the Brooklyn Nets. It was like,
that's right.
Damn, how'd you fuck that up?
Yeah. Dunk contest. I think there's really only one guy. Next year's dunk contest is supposed to be the one to watch, but Diallo had that sick dunk. He jumped over Shaq, who's a freaking mountain.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
did the elbow dunk,
the Vince Carter hang or whatever.
Yeah, the elbow hang.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Oh, from the skills, they have like the little skills thing where
they like run up and pound.
Basically,
pass,
they have to dribble. It's like cone dribbling, and then they got to pass it through a little hole.
Yeah.
Then they got to lay up, and then they got to run down the court and shoot a 3.
Yeah.
It was between not Steph Curry. Jason Tatum ends up winning it, and Jason Tatum basically.
Nice.
Oh, it's Trae Young. Trae Young, who
okay, yeah.
Those two were in the finals. They were going against each other, and Tatum just tosses it up from half court and makes it just before he does. And Trae Young was ahead of him already. He was already at the 3-point line shooting it.
No,
and Tatum just
threw up a prayer.
He just threw up a prayer from half court and it went in.
Oh, that's
and he won.
Fucked up. No.
So.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was Tatum's a stud though. There's been a lot of talks about, Kyrie Irving leaving, or they have to trade for Anthony Davis or all this other stuff. I think Jason Tatum, that's his team, in my opinion. And I think they'd be stupid to unload him. He is such a raw talent. Dude's really talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally not a huge fan of the Celtics, but, you know.
But, yeah, for a guy like that and a talent like
yeah,
that, you can't go unrecognized.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I saw in the show notes the Lakers on their buyouts, eh?
Yeah, I was just reading up, Ryan's not here, so I felt like you needed to have some back and forth with some NBA.
I do.
I can't just let you sit here and talk, so I was reading up on some little Lakers Lakers
ramble.
bit, and with that last trade when they traded with the Clippers.
Yeah, Muscala, and they unloaded Zubac and Michael Beasley.
Yeah,
so they freed up an extra
freed
spot.
up a spot for them, so then they have somebody to buy out, and obviously I don't pay that much attention to who's there and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
no,
I wanted to get your sage advice or your recommendation. My two guys that I thought were, LeBron James has come out and even said, I'd love to see Carmelo Anthony, on the court with me and all this stuff. So he's an option. Plus, the Rockets would have to release him or whatever.
Well, he's already been released. He's available.
Oh, so he's just available. Okay, I thought he had to go through some kind of.
He's on the Bulls. The Bulls cut him already. Nobody wants him. So I would not want Carmelo Anthony if I were you guys. He is a volume shooter, and he also needs the ball in his hands. I think if I'm a Lakers fan, I want spot up shooters. You guys lack shooters badly. Like you guys bottom of the league, and that's been your problem all year. So if I were you, I would be looking for. I don't know if J.R. Smith's been kind of talked about as like a buyout guy, but I think he still has another year on his contract.
Yeah,
but his contract's just awful.
So the only reason why,
and they'll never be able to trade that.
The only reason why I put Melo and then I put DeAndre Jordan is because ever since they traded Zubac away, center is their main thing. They've been trying to go after Anthony Davis for. What I mean? They were ready to sell the entire team for him, and I think that you like a Melo or a DeAndre Jordan these are a short-term solution guys that help you get that push to the playoffs. I think that ownership still has to keep in mind of the future, and that's the difference. It's like you get LeBron James into the playoffs and magic can happen. But you have to get them there, and I think that's the point. They're just like, let's just get them there, and let's just see if we can.
Well, you heard him. Playoff mode's activated. I think DeAndre Jordan's not going to get bought out. The Knicks already said they're not going to buy him out. But I think you guys are fine at center. I think JaVale McGee's a stud. He's playing really good for the Lakers this year. And then Tyson Chandler, seasoned veteran. I guess he's a solid backup, but I thought that was a bad trade for you guys personally, unloading Zubac, just because he's young and talented. Yeah. But I think shooting, man. I would look for any shooters. Which shooters are always in high demand because those complement championship teams well. Because you just need a guy who can spot up and shoot the ball really well.
Whether it be like you're cut for time, so you got to hit a quick three, or you're just need somebody to dish to be consistent.
Basically, I look at the Lakers, and every player on that team needs the ball in their hands. LeBron needs the ball in his hands. Lonzo Ball needs the ball in his hands. And Kuzma's probably the exception. He's the one guy I'm like, well, you can keep him off to the side and he plays well off the ball. But who else? Brandon Ingram. He needs the ball in his hands. You look at when LeBron's not playing, Ingram does better. And it's like, it just, to me, it seems like there's no complementary pieces, and you should have built this team around LeBron. But man, LeBron's just so talented that even if this team's poorly constructed, you're still going to have a chance because he's just that good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I wish I could give you some names, but that's about as deep as my basketball knowledge is going to go.
I haven't really been monitoring the buyout market either, but apparently Clippers are going to be in on somebody because they have an extra spot too because they waived Michael Beasley, and so it'll be interesting. The buyout market's going to start heating up pretty soon. I think teams are going to come out of the break and they're going to analyze how their team has adjusted to these trades because that was a pretty hot trade deadline for basketball, probably one of the best ones we've ever seen. And so I think you'll see some teams kind of analyze what their needs are. Teams are going to buy out those contracts, and then make those moves. I think we saw last year. I think Bellinelli was the big guy. I think Bellinelli was one of the guys that was bought out, and he did really well for the 76ers. It should be fun to check that market out.
Yeah. So how does basketball work? So the trade deadline ends, but you have a buyout market that ends when?
I don't know when the buyout market ends
Playoffs?
specifically, but no, you can't.
Before playoffs,
before playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like setting your 40-man roster. You got to whittle it down for the playoffs,
Yeah.
But no, I think it's like teams will analyze what players are like. Well, I couldn't get shit for him, and I don't want to pay him some money, so I don't want to
get rid of him.
I want to get my young guys some playing time, and then when these guys buy them out, they're still paying a small percentage of their contract. I think they'll pay league minimum or whatever it would be, which is chump change. But hey, it's free money for these teams that aren't contending.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the thought process there.
All right. Well, yeah, it'll be an interesting little buyout market coming forward. So we'll have to see where that goes.
It's supposed to be pretty hot this year.
Yeah.
As opposed to the years past.
All right, well, it's my turn.
It's your turn. There you go.
Get in some NHL. The trade deadline ends Monday.
We only if Sidney Crosby's on the docket.
Fuck Sidney Crosby.
Or the Ducks.
The Ducks already had their shit show. They're out of it.
Yeah, you were telling me that the Ducks had lost how badly? Oh no, there was that couple.
It was
you got to tell this story on here.
I told it last week on the podcast.
You?
Yeah, it was a couple that went to. They spent their honeymoon. They went on a 4-game road, a 4-game streak with the Ducks, and they lost all 4 games. And the total score was 28-6 total.
Crap.
Across the 4 games, they just got their asses kicked. They lost 8 games in a row. Fired their GM.
All the losses. Still
fired
count
their
the
head
same.
coach. They just got rid of them. They're out of it for sure. But yeah, the trade deadline's ending Monday. There's not a whole lot of big names that are up for grabs. Usually, the unrestricted free agents are the big market in any sport in all reality. So there's not a lot of those. I just kind of, quickly went through my top 2 teams that are, really looking to sell guys. Those are the Ottawa Senators and the New York Rangers. Ottawa has a lot of defensemen, and they have the top center that they could give up. And then you have the Rangers, who have a lot of unrestricted free agents on their roster. So they're kind of in that sense of let's move these guys and get something for them before they just walk at the end of the season.
Yeah,
so I think that's the only reason. They have 5 guys that are up.
Good team.
Not a good team.
No, I'm saying that's a good practice.
Yeah, it's a good practice. It's a good idea. Yeah. Then on the other side of the coin, you got the top buyers.
So that's not a good team.
They're not a good team, but it's a good idea. Yeah. There's a lot of teams that are looking to make moves in the sense of they need certain pieces, but the pieces just aren't there. So they're going to kind of have to scramble a little bit or make some good offers. But my top 3 are Boston, Dallas, and Washington. The Caps are my second team. And just give them some love for, our resident guest, Chad. But the Caps, they already made a move for Hagelin, who's a top forward, but they're also looking for a couple other forwards. I think that's really, they need guys that can really play that blue line and keep the puck in, and I think that's what they're going to need to do. They have an amazing trade bait in Andre Burakovsky, who is going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. He's one of the really good rookie guys, so they could do something. But I think the best part of this season is my Canucks have taken a season that was going to be a rebuild and a wash and kind of fighting for that last place, and now they have potential to be the wild card spot. They're 2 games out of the wild card, and honestly, I don't see them making any moves. I think the roster that they have now is kind of fit to win, and there's no reason to give up top prospects or top picks, you know what I mean, for that. But the GM of the team, Jim Benning, he has some tough decisions. It's what do you want to go for? You have about $10 million in cap space to spend on players, and it'll be interesting to see. It's their their ownership group came out with a statement saying, we're willing to make moves and we're willing to win, but we want to build a team that's going to be consistently winning and not spend everything now. So I don't think they're going to make any moves because they're setting up for the future.
So does the salary cap roll over like in the NFL? Or
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So,
yeah, I would.
So, it's one of those things where they have options to do what they want to do, but at the same time, it's better if they just sit on it and wait. So,
do you think the Vegas Knights are going to make a move?
No. The Knights are... The Knights might
like
miss the playoffs.
Third in the Pacific right now, so...
They might miss the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't you want to make that move to put you in the playoffs, or you don't think they can go toe-to-toe with those other two?
They're in a weird situation because they have that, they're that expansion team. So, like, their money is tied up in a weird way where they can't really make a lot of picks and they can't really move around a lot because they don't have...
I get what you're saying.
Like, they don't have the cap space and they don't have the...
So they like maxed out for last year, basically.
Exactly. And they're kind of set up for failure for the next couple of years. So
hey, they had a good year.
They had a good year, which was...
I mean, you have... I'll take one great year in like 3 shitty years.
Yeah, so...
Hell, we put up with 20 with the Padres.
Yeah, but NHL is coming to a close fast, and it's always a fun time.
Tampa Bay Lightning, Jesus.
Well, that was the team that I was telling you Tavares went to, and they have Austin Matthews, and
Jeez, they're just
Mitch,
they're like head over heels better than everyone else.
Yeah, well, they've been that way for a while. Like since the start of the season, it's been unbelievable.
Yeah, they're 47-11 in their win-loss column and 98 points.
Yeah,
Jesus,
they're ready to go. They're my favorite.
Yeah, they look like they're like standalone best team. Like there's nobody close.
The only thing
it's
is
like Golden State Warriors status.
Yeah, the Capitals are, they have a certain mentality now, and they know how to win. So it's always dangerous to have a team that's like that. So the Capitals could be running for them.
Yeah,
too.
it's like the Ravens or
exactly
Steelers.
Yeah,
Patriots.
It's like the Patriots this year.
I was gonna say the Patriots.
It's like the Patriots this year. Of like you've been there. They've been there before. Their team is kind of consistent, and it's like they're just dangerous at any point.
They didn't really have a great regular season like they normally do, but they
turned it on.
Yeah.
Well, I got our stat of the day this week. So you ready for this?
What's the theme?
Baseball.
Okay.
Stat of the day, stat of the day, dabba-dooba-doo, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. Bop.
All right, so here we go. MLB stat. Since 2005, 13 of the 14 teams with the number 1 farm system made the playoffs within 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one.
So the Padres have the top farm system, and that means we have 2 years till we're a playoff contending team.
We were top farm system last year too, weren't we? So I think we back-to-back years.
Was it back-to-back years?
I think it's back-to-back.
So that means we have 1 more year to make the playoffs?
I think we're like... No, I seriously think we're set for... Like, this is for... Like, when I say 3 to 5 year run, I think it's like a legit 3 to 5 years. Not like... the Kansas City Royals had that one brief run.
So the Kansas City Royals were the only team that within 2 years of them being the number 1 farm system didn't make the playoffs, but they went to back-to-back World Series in like...
A couple of years after.
2011 or whatever it was.
You look at the...
2014, whatever it was.
I forgot what the crazy stat was, but it was between like 3 seasons. It was like they had the Houston Astros had lost like 350 games or something ridiculous like that over a 3-year span. And then like 2 years later...
They're back at it.
2 years later, I think they won the World Series, wasn't it? Or something ridiculous like that. It's just... It's insane how if you have good leadership up at the top and they have a good plan in place and all the young talent comes up at the same time.
Good veteran leadership and good draft class and a good system that you're bringing them up through.
Yeah, well, you just want those guys coming up at the same time. If they trickle up at different times, it's kind of like, well...
Yeah, you didn't all mesh. You didn't meet at a good time.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I can trade this piece, I guess, or...
Yeah.
I just don't know what to do with this piece because well, we have one good player. We still need to field the rest of the team, you know? Especially when you have to field 9 positions plus all the pitchers, too, you need. So,
yeah. So, yeah, looks like 2020, 2021 are our years.
I seriously, like, I think 2021, I could see, this is what I'm going to go.
I could see our name on a banner.
No, I could see this. Machado into the Western Metal Building.
Dude,
Tatis, Petco Park porch.
Dude, I had a dream
back
last
to
night.
back Jacks.
I had
in
a
the World
dream
Series
last night
2021
that I bought season tickets next year. I bought season tickets, and I was like, what does this come with if they make it to the playoffs? And they're like, you have first priority for all playoff games, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. And they made it to the playoffs, and then it was Game 5 of the World Series at Petco. I was there with my dad, and then Manny Machado just hit a jack into the Western Metal Building in the bottom of the 9th to set us through. And I was like, yeah!
Holy shit.
I think I was crying in my sleep. Like, I was so happy.
Dude.
That was my dream.
I think this is
going to
happen, man. Do you ever have something like you see in your head and then shortly later?
There's no doubt in my fucking mind for the next 10 years I'm having season tickets.
Dude, there's
I
some
will
point.
spend I'm going to spend the money.
Dude,
we
just need to go in on it again.
Dude, I'm going to.
No,
I'm down.
You're not going to do 162.
No.
Yeah,
half season. Just give me the playoff berth. That's all I want. I want the priority playoff tickets.
You know what would be sick? We could do a full and then do 2, and then we could split it up between my brother, Ryan, and like all of us can go in on it or something like that.
That would be the best idea. Then we could all go together.
Yeah, and then I bet you we get an even better deal off the ticket prices too.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, everybody.
All right.
We are the Three Amigos and a podcast. Thank you so much for listening, Ryan. We miss you. I hope the honeymoon was amazing.
He's going to come back all tan.
Don't come back pregnant, though.
Ooh.
But all right, guys, we will be back. We will be back next week. We'll get Ryan's honeymoon overview, recap, whatever you want to call it. But thank you for listening.
And then we're going to review the Harper to the Padres signing.
That's right. But we will see you next week. Follow us everywhere you listen to podcasts. Give us 5 stars, all that jazz. Later.
Jazz hands. Man, he's riding a high.
Well, he hasn't been able to talk to anybody about it.
Yeah. That's good.
All right, let's do it.
I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, there's no way. I mean, I have a sliver of hope. It's definitely more of a possibility versus a probability.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I hope he's right, though.
Same.
Yeah. Just because if we do that, we're fucked. We're not signing anybody else
for years.
Yeah. As long as, like, basically we would have, you know how you usually make that mid-season trade where you're like, I want this guy's the guy we need to push us over the top. Yeah. We won't have that flexibility.
Yeah. And that's what you need. You need some space there to give you that flexibility. But I don't know. I mean, it's more just like excitement.
Dude, are we recording or no?
Yeah.
Oh, is this...
I was just going to skip through. Cut it out.
Okay.
Just so I don't have to stop and start again.
No, good. Yeah, dude. I think we haven't had a buzz like this for a long time. I'm gonna bring it up in the podcast when we go into like Machado.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think the Padres make this offer if the Chargers are still in town.
No. Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up.
I was going to bring that up too. All right, I'm going to do the SDSU thing before we get into baseball.
Okay.
After Ryan's wedding.
After Ryan's wedding?
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.